everybody, Carrie Tepedino here, and sorry I'm a few minutes late. I was bumped off my computer, and so I had to scramble to come on to my mobile through Julie's account, but I just wanted to say I'm super excited to be here as the guest spot or the guest expert today on Dharma, Live Dharma Talk Tuesday, and we have such a good training that we're going to do tonight. And as you're coming on, I would love you to say hi. I want to see who's here. Go ahead and do a wave. Hey, Leah, I want to see who else is here, and just let me know because I'm just getting used to your community. I would love to hear where you're from. What are you, why do you show up on this talk on Tuesdays on Dharma Talk? Like, what does it mean to you? Why is it important? What kind of inspiration does it give to you? So just let me know a little bit about you. And hey, Natasha, welcome, you guys. And just so you know a little bit about me, I'm a holistic health coach for women where we really focus on helping women get healthy physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Julie and I have been good friends for many years, and she was a guest speaker at my 3-day event, the Believe event last year, and we've just been pretty tight for a while. And so she's in the training room tonight doing a leadership training, being of service, because that's part of her Dharma. So she's being of service to other people. And so she asked me to jump in and support and love you guys up, which I was super fired up to do. We have a ton of people coming on. Let me do some quick hellos. We have Colleen. We have Natasha I said hi to. Hey, Holly. We have Mary. We have Jody. Oh, we have a lot of people from my community here too. Awesome. And you guys probably met Julie at the Believe event last year. Hey, Jody. Okay, awesome. Well, here's what we're going to talk about tonight. What we get to talk about tonight is we're going to talk about inclusion. And the whole topic of inclusion, you might be like, what the heck does that mean? But this topic of inclusion is a really powerful one to me personally. And it's really talking about the community or the tribe. Like, who are your friends? Like real, like legit friends, right? Not just people who might just come and go in your life, but it's more superficial, or people who, might have a different type of investment in their relationship to you, where they're there to get something from you versus like to have this mutual relationship of giving and receiving. So this whole conversation of inclusion to me personally means like, who is your community? Who is your tribe? Who is there for you when you're not only like on the highs of life where everything is going really well, like work is awesome, the bank account is full, your heart is full, your relationship's good, you're on point with your health and your fitness and your nutrition. But who's also there in the moments that are hard? Who's there for you in the moments of the scary diagnosis? Who's there for you when your car gets a flat tire on the freeway in a rainstorm? Who's there that you can call? Like, who's there for you when you are going through a heartbreak or when you're going through a bankruptcy? And so that's the conversation we're looking at today and tonight, wherever you are in the world. That's the conversation we're looking at, is this conversation of community and tribe, and being really clear on this conversation of who's got your back. And of course you want to have your own back. You are the one person that you can guarantee will be with you until the day that you die. And that's not a morbid thought, that's just a fact, right? Like, as much as we want everybody we love to be with us up until the very last day, we just don't know what's going to happen. Like, life is organic. It's an ever-flowing river of, not knowing what's going to come next, but being prepared for anything that comes and celebrating along the way, and really stepping up your game now to have the skills that you need to be a person who's extraordinary, even in the face of adversity, right? But in those moments that are great in your life, who's there with you? And in those moments that are really tough in your life, who's there with you, right? And in our community, we talk a lot, we call it tribe. And I know for a fact that the women in our tribe are completely clear that they're not only there for each other through celebrations like birthdays and weddings and births and all that stuff, but they're also there for each other in the really hard moments, And I know that you guys have that here in the Dharma Circle as well. And so I actually, if you see me looking down, it's because I took a few notes that I really wanted to bring across in this training tonight, because I think there's a few things that are super important to get across. But it's also like, it's not what, like in a community and tribe, in this conversation of inclusion, it's not just what's coming to you. Like, what are you getting from these relationships? What are you getting by being a part of this community or this tribe? But it's also the conversation of what's coming through you. So it's not just about what's coming to you, like what are you going to get from being a part of this relationship or this tribe, but what's coming through you as well. Like, what are you putting out? What are you giving? How are you supporting? How are you giving back? Okay, so really just take an honest inventory of yourself right now. And so this isn't a conversation of guilt or shame or, oh, you're such a taker. You're always taking, but you're not showing up and you're not giving. This isn't a conversation around that. This is just a conversation of up leveling. This is a conversation of celebrating where you're also a giver. So you get to celebrate how you've been showing up powerfully for other people. But it's also a conversation to just give you a platform in this space to just get honest with yourself. Like, what relationships have you been more of a taker versus a giver? Okay, in what relationships in your life have you been more of a taker than a giver? And are you willing to take a different look at this? And are you willing to stretch yourself and allow yourself to open up to an even more clear channel of letting love work through you, of letting forgiveness work through you, of letting acceptance, faith, trust. Like if you're somebody that has like a sticky point with trust, like I know in my life, in this lifetime, two of my biggest lessons in this lifetime are self-love and trust. I'm just so clear of this. I've known this for 20 years. It's been what I've been working on. It's what I built my business on. It's what has changed and shifted me from being 50 pounds overweight with a full-blown eating addiction and dysfunctional relationship to food and eating. It's like taking on those lessons of self-love and trust has completely transformed my life. Completely and totally transformed my life. And so for me, I know those things are going to show up. They like to show up because they show up so that I can deepen and strengthen into the lesson, right? I unconsciously create situations in my life so I can deepen and strengthen into the lessons of self-love and trust. What are your lessons that you have that come up for you over and over and over again? What are those for you? I'm really curious to hear. What are those for you? I'm going to do a quick check-in down here. Wow, we have lots of people here. Awesome. We have Amanda Clark, Renee, we have Lisa, Debbie, Erica. Great, you guys, I want to hear from you. Go ahead and post. What do you see your greatest lessons are in this lifetime so far? Let's do a quick check-in. And this is really like this invitation is opening up to allow yourself to give more, to include others, to make them feel included in a way that is a way of non-judgment, a way of just including them because they exist, acknowledging that they are a miracle simply because they exist. They're not like this wonderful person because they did such, A, B, and C right. They're wonderful and they're a miracle because they exist. Why does it have to be more than that? And then it's like celebrating the beauty and the light that we see in each other, right? And so my invitation, another invitation I have for you is to really make this a season of giving in your life. Make this a season of giving. So as we're wrapping up this end of the year, we still have a few months left. And so we're going into a season, right? Like people think of this as like the holiday season. We're coming up on many holidays over the next few months. And so what if we really took this on as a community and tribe to make this the greatest season of our life, to give, to be of selfless service. And for Julie's community, it's all about what you guys would probably say in Sanskrit is the word seva. Seva meaning selfless service. So how can we open our hearts more and give more? How can we open up to this conversation of inclusion more? You know, whether that's somebody that you know could really use a shoulder to lean on. Maybe it's just even the girl that pours you coffee at the coffee shop every morning. Maybe you just notice that maybe she's having a bad day. How can you give more to her to change and shift her energy, to help her change and shift her day? Like, how can you come from your heart from that place? Good. We have some people. Hey, Tony. Mary says, my husband has been through it all, and I love his dear heart. My family hasn't. I love them no matter what. Okay. And on my phone, I actually can't open up the rest of that. But what I would say, Mary, is awesome. So with your husband who has been through it all, so going into that conversation with him about understanding, about hearing where he's at, about loving him no matter what, about holding the space for him to not only see him and relate to him as who he's been, but speak into him in who he's becoming, right? Speak into him, into who he's becoming. And that can change, oh my gosh, that can change and open up something in your king so quickly, because then he knows the vision that you see in him. That's a give, right? Like, that is generous. That's like putting your faith in somebody else and lighting them up simply because it's the right thing to do. We're all humans having a human experience on this planet. It's just the right thing to do as good people in this world. It's just the right thing to do to be of service and to make it a point on a daily basis to lift those up around us, right? That's inclusion. That's inclusion. And so one of my questions to you is, how much are you giving right now in your life? Just an honest inventory. How much are you actually giving to others in your life right now? And the great thing that I've learned is when you have a good tribe or you have a good community, what that does is it actually creates a different type of stability, okay? It creates a different type of stability because it's like, becomes like your family. And many of us don't have a lot of stability in our blood family, right? I mean, there's a lot of history there, and there's emotion, and there's misunderstanding. There's tons of stories. Unless you've really done this work where you've gone back, we call it, in my community, we call it the art of telling a different story, because we get so wrapped up in the stories of who we are based on misconceptions or life experiences that we have from our childhoods, that we often stay in those stories and we recreate them time and time and time again. But what we're doing now, what I'm inviting you to do now, is get really proficient at learning how to rewrite your story. Learning how to rewrite your story. So if you have a story that you're not good enough, that you never make the team, or mom or dad was never happy with you, you never got the straight A's. If you have a story of not being good enough, or I should have been skinnier, I would have been more beautiful. If I was skinnier, I'd be prettier, I'd be more lovable, I'd be more validated. So what stories are you still holding on to? What stories are you holding on to from your childhood that aren't serving you anymore? And how are they showing up in your life today still? And are you willing to give them up? If you, and it's up to you, if it's always a choice, okay? Remember that. In your life, moment by moment, moment by moment, moment by moment, it's a thread of choices that you're making in regards to your life. And you can stay in the story of the past. You can stay in the story of the past. But what I've noticed for a lot of people is it creates separation. So if we're holding on to the pain of the past, oftentimes it's creating separation with the people who are with us today, because we're living in the fear of the misconceptions, or we're living in the pain of something that's happened in the past, or what we thought happened in the past. And then we create walls around our heart, right? That is not inclusion. A really good a really great quote. I was at a women's conference about a month ago now, maybe 3 weeks ago. I was at a women's conference and with my church, and one of the pastors stood up and he said something which really, really struck home for me. And he said, and I'm going to put this in my own words because I'll get the concept. But he said, make sure that you're not, if somebody has cut you in the past, don't bleed on the person who's in front of you today who did not cut you. Do you guys get that? So if you've been hurt in the past, make sure that you're keeping it in perspective, what's true and what's real. And so if you've been hurt in the past, make sure to keep it in perspective and don't bleed on the person who's in front of you who did not cut you. And I think it was like, when the pastor said it, like all the women, there's 1,600 women in the room and they all pulled out their notepads or their phones and they wrote it down. And, it was really impactful because I think a lot of people do that. A lot of people have pain from the past and they stay in it because there's fear. There's fear of being hurt again, right? There's fear of being hurt. There's fear of letting somebody in closer. If I let that person in close, if I let them really see me, if I get really vulnerable, if I let them really love me, they may hurt me. And so we create a separation between ourselves and others that is really coming from fear, which is not inclusion. That's a separateness, right? Separateness. And I promise you, life is way, way harder to do on your own than just like facing your fears, up-leveling your emotional mastery so that you can be with whatever emotion's coming up for you and learning to breathe through it and decharge them so they don't take you sideways anymore. Is this making sense, you guys? Let me see. We have a lot of people. We have a lot of action here. I'm loving it. Tony, great catching you. Awesome. Hey, Evelyn. And Carla. Hey, Carla. Carla and I actually went to that church conference together. So you probably remember that. Bronco, Andrew, Jody, Jolyn. Hey, Jolyn. Jolyn's my cousin. Awesome, Jolyn. Deanna, Lucia. Wow, we have tons of people. You guys, is this resonating? Are you hearing me? If you are, give me like hey, Evelyn. Give me a thumbs up or give me a heart or a like, just so I know that this is resonating with you. Also, I would love for you to say, what is resonating with you the most? Because I know we're going through a lot of training points right now. Good. Okay, good. Yes, lots and lots of thumbs up there. Awesome. And so the other thing about like what's so important about being in a community and tribe, not only does it give you a sense of family and it gives you a sense of stability, but have you ever noticed that there's also like this higher level of wisdom, right? Because when we're together in a tribe, then we can tap into each other as resources. And when we're tapping into each other as resources, it just opens up the opportunity. It opens up the opportunity to gain, to pull from so many different people's life experiences and knowledge and breakthroughs. Like, for example, in our community and tribe, we do a lot of open coaching. Meaning on our group calls every week or at our live events, at our retreats, stuff like that. I am open coaching, or our coaches are open coaching our clients, because when you hear somebody else getting coached, oftentimes you'll get the breakthrough, right? Oftentimes you'll get the breakthrough and it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that piece was holding me back until I heard you get coached on it. And that's generosity right there. The fact that somebody else would allow themselves to get open coached in front of other people is generous, because as they're vulnerable, it's generous with their vulnerability, because as they're getting coached, as they're being broken wide open, right? It gives to other people so that they can accelerate their progress too. That's generous. That's generosity. And that's another piece of this inclusion conversation. Because the honest to goodness truth is, there's a lot of chaos in our world, right? There's a lot of chaos in our world. I mean, even just some of the stuff that's happened on the news today and yesterday. I mean, there's chaos in our world. And so it's like, it's not that it's not that it's, so let me say this, having a solid community and tribe, what it gets to do for you in a chaotic world is it gets to ground you. It gets to ground your energy. It gets to give you another perspective that's based on hope, that's based on transformation, that's based on what we say forward pacing, moving forward, like moving towards the results that you want versus away from them. Like with health, we say you're either moving towards health or away from it. If you're moving away from health, you're moving towards disease. It's just what happens. In a chaotic world, it's just what happens. And so again, the power of inclusion, the power of tribe is not only stability, family, like a sense of family, lifelong friendships, but it's also about like pulling together like even your emotional and intelligence resources to up the wisdom level of the entire community and tribe. And it's a grounding, it's like a safe haven or a safe house, right? It's a safe house within a chaotic world. And so the power of community and tribe and this conversation of inclusion, it's like, it's quite a rare opportunity is what I find. Like when you really find a community and a tribe that is like, got your back no matter what, that is such a rare opportunity that I actually feel it's part of our mission within our programs. And I'm sure Julie feels the same within hers. It's almost like it's such a rare opportunity and what I feel a responsibility. It's a responsibility to touch the lives as for us, we only work with women. We love you, gentlemen. We love you so much, but we just work with women. But it's like, but I know Julie just works with women as well, I believe. But it's like it's putting other people first. And it's like really sharing what's working for you instead of hoarding it. Like, oh, I don't want to tell, or if we expand the community, then we're going to get less coaching or I'll get less attention. So it's like not hoarding what you're finding, but realizing like, my gosh, this is, excuse me, it's so rare to find something so beautiful. It's so rare to find something so beautiful. And it's my responsibility to share it with as many people as I know so that they can see that there's another way of living going on that maybe they're not aware of. You see what I'm saying? That's powerful. And by the way, when you do that, I always say what that does for you is it actually creates like a safety net for you, because when you're sharing what's working for you and you're pulling people into your, not pulling like, I'm going to pull your teeth, I'm going to pull you by the hair over like a cave girl. But you're like inviting your friends and your family into a community and tribe that you know that it's working for you. What happens is you create this safety net for yourself, because the more people you have surrounding yourself with the conversation of transformation that understand how you're thinking, that understand your mindset, that understand the emotional mastery that you're learning, the more people that you have in this tribe and community that you find works for you, then it's harder for you to pull away. It's harder for you to pull away because you'll be even more invested, because the people around you are also accelerating at a beautiful pace and moving towards a higher vibration conversation and living. And so it's more of a safety net, or even like you could think of it as an additional health insurance, because it helps keep you in the game of transformation. So for me personally, when I was 50 pounds heavier than I am today, full-blown eating addiction, head in a toilet, binge and purger, stress eater, all of that stuff, out of control, I prayed that I could find communities like what Julie has and what I have, what we've created. And it's actually, for myself, I'll speak from my own personal experience, it's actually why I've created the community that I have, because it's something that I wish I had when I really needed it and I couldn't find it. So what you guys get to do is you get to continue to invest your time and energy with Julie, the Dharma Circle, or, I see a lot of my clients here too. I think Julie and I actually share a lot of clients in community, which is awesome. We love that. We are stronger together. And so when you find a tribe and community that works for you, then, give back in it and share. Like, when I'm part of a community and tribe that works for me, I'm like shouting it from a mountaintop. I'm like wanting to share it. I want everybody to have the goodness and juiciness that I'm having. So that's inclusion, right? That's this conversation of inclusion again. So the other thing that inclusion does for a lot of people is it creates a sense of purpose. In this chaotic world that often can feel like there's a storm, a sense of purpose keeps you on track. A sense of purpose keeps you focused outward. A sense of purpose, it really does help you. What I have noticed with all of our beautiful clients, I was just thinking of a few of them. What I've noticed is being a part of the tribe is oftentimes a conversation of heal thyself first. And then as you build that strong platform under yourself where you understand who you are as a woman that you respect in the world and you understand what you want your life to look like, then it opens up this whole other level of living, of giving back, of being generous, of thinking outside of yourself, of including others who have never felt included before in their lives, of helping others see that they belong. That's, excuse me, that's a powerful conversation. That's a beautiful conversation. So inclusion, man, it changes lives, right? The power of inclusion changes lives. So let me see. We have more people who are talking here. Oh, and I am almost up on time. This is the thing. You give me a mic. I got the power of gab. I will go and go and go and go. Let me say some quick hellos and then we'll wrap this up. Hey, Laura. So good to see you here. Holly says, love this message, Carrie. Love to you. Awesome. Let me see. So true. Laura says, so true. What direction are we going, towards health or towards disease? Yes, yes, yes. Hey, Liz Payne's here. Diana's here. June's here. Okay, lots of action tonight. I love this. I love all the interaction. So this is the last thing. So Julie asked me, she said, and she'll be back here probably later tonight or tomorrow, actually probably tomorrow. She'll do a check-in. She's going to be in the training room late tonight, being of service to other people. So this is the last thing that I'm going to say. Julie said, hey, will you share with them about the Believe event? Because she spoke at the Believe event last year, which is incredible. It's how many of you guys actually met her. And at the Believe event, it is all about the conversation of inclusion is a big part of that conversation there. So the Believe event is the gathering of the year for women who are really ready to take their lives to the next level, their health to the next level, physically, mentally, emotionally, vibrationally. It's January 18th, 19th, and 20th this year in beautiful sunny San Diego. And it's strategically built in at that time so that you can truly launch into the new year at an incredible women's gathering. We love you, gentlemen. This is women's only. But really have that girls' weekend. Have that girls' weekend where, I'm looking for the flyer, where you really allow yourself to just accelerate into your transformation with the sacred self. And it really is about the mindset mastery, the emotional mastery, connecting with yourself on a very, very sacred level. And we do some incredible things. I don't want to share too much. I like to surprise, but we do like fire ceremonies, primordial sound healing. Like we do some amazing stuff at the Believe event. And Julie and I want you there. We want you there this year. And so what we'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll post a link. And as Julie's community, it's usually $600 a ticket, but as Julie's community, we're going to offer you a friends and family from Julie. It's a gift from Julie. And I'll post a link in the description above. If you guys have any questions, just reach out to me. And make this an awesome evening, you guys, wherever you are in the world, morning, afternoon, evening, make the rest of it amazing. And also just really take to heart this conversation of inclusion and just ask yourself, who do you know, what woman do you know in the world right now that could really use the conversation we just had tonight? Go ahead and click the share button and share it with her. Actually click the share button, share it with your whole community. And if there's a specific woman that you know could really use this loving conversation, tag her or share it and share it straight to her in a Facebook message if it's something that you guys are, you feel like she would appreciate it more privately. But click the share button, and I'm excited to get to know you guys even better. And to everybody here who I already know, mwah, love you guys, and I'll see you soon.